Welcome. It is Sunday, May 11th, and you're watching One More Round Fights. I'm your host, Gaff. I do this podcast here every single Friday, every single Sunday that we have a UFC event going on. Also, if we have any combat sports going on, I'm that guy to give you MMA and boxing, tips, picks, parlays, tricks, all that shit. I'm your boy. Holla. Don't forget to scan the QR codes below to become a fan of the channels. That is Main Card Minute on your left. That is One More Round Fights on your right. Main Card Minute, that's where we do the Saturday watch-alongs for UFC, occasional PFL ones. And then One More Round Fights, where we do our simulations on Fridays and our wrap-ups on Sundays. And welcome to the Sunday wrap-up. Don't forget to follow on social, follow on YouTube, One More Round Fights, follow on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch. It's a little different on X because there's a character limit, so fuck you, Elon. But yeah. And don't forget to send your wins into One More Round Fights at gmail.com. That is One More Round Fights at gmail.com. Shout out to our sponsor, W.GG. Use promo code One More Round for 10% off. That is promo code One More Round for 10% off. And yeah, man, we had a pretty jam-packed weekend. Surprisingly, a lot of parlays to be made. We had another fat weekend. We had PFL, we had UFC, we had boxing, we had all of the above. I had a great time. Why is my mic the correct mic? This is annoying. That pisses me off. Because I knew something felt off, and I was like, why does this feel off? And I looked, I was like, that's not the mic I'm supposed to be using. So I'm going to do my whole fucking intro all over again because I fucking hate that StreamYard. Count your fucking days, StreamYard. Count your fucking days. Anyways. Yeah, it's Sunday, May 11th, and you're watching One More Round Fights. Don't forget, I'm your host, Gaff. I do this shit every Sunday. Parlays, picks, tips, and tricks, all that shit. Don't forget to follow on social. Scan the QR codes below. One More Round Fights, Main Card Minute. You already know the deal. Saturdays on the Main Card Minute, Fridays and Sundays on One More Round Fights. And don't forget to follow on social. Fuck you, Elon. Okay. Yeah, that annoyed me. That really annoyed me. That pissed me off. But anyways, I get it, Luke. LT, I get you, bro. I fucking get you. I get you, big dog. I see when it goes down like that, it pisses you off. I get it. Oh, I get it. Fully to the fullest. But anyways, let's get into this. We got a bunch of shit to talk about. We got a new welterweight champion. We got an and still that happened, and I told you so. We had some PFL happen. We had some boxing happen. We got some picks for the next week. We got this week's wins coming up. I mean, it's a fantastic Sunday. And then we got some basketball in a few hours, a little 3:00 game type. Oh, man. It's Mother's Day, by the way. Shout out to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day to every mom out there. Doing everything you can to raise your families as best as you can. So shout out to all the moms. But yeah, this special Mother's Day episode will start off with Jack Della Maddalena defeats Belal Muhammad by unanimous decision. What a fight. What a fight. In the moment, I didn't appreciate the fight, if we're going to be honest. At first, I was like, what the fuck is Belal doing? Why isn't he shooting? Why isn't he taking him down? Did he really take this Canelo hands thing seriously? And then by round 4, I was like, you know what, Belal? This was fun as hell. Thank you. I appreciate you, my boy. Because Jack and Belal threw the fuck down on Saturday night. Jack Della Maddalena beats Belal Muhammad by unanimous decision, 48-47, 48-47, 49-46. Jack just using his long strikes. He didn't even have to go to the body too much in this fight. He was beating Belal up on the feet with just ones and twos. Little 3 hooks every now and then on the exit. But Belal just decided to use his hands for the majority of this fight. Didn't decide to wrestle as much as he should have, as much as his wrestle-heavy game plans have served him in the past. And I guess he tried to appeal to the market for this fight, and it bit him in the ass because he ended up losing his belt. Belal Muhammad loses a unanimous decision in a fight where he didn't use all the tools to his advantage. Some of the tools that were he had a clear advantage, he decided to abandon until the very last rounds when it was possibly too late, as you can see by 49-46 on one of the judges' scorecards. So 48-47 is okay, but I had it more of a 49-46 fight. I think Jack Della Maddalena was in complete control. He hurt Belal multiple times. He hurt him at the end of that round 5 where he almost finished the fight in the last minute. Belal was looking like he was just getting pieced up left and right. Now, Belal did land a couple good strikes here and there, but for the most part, Belal didn't really have anything for Jack that was really going to throw him off besides his grappling game. That was the only thing that Belal had in his back pocket that maybe worried Jack. Because there was a point where Belal took his back and was searching for a choke on the neck, and it was possible that he was going to get in head and arm. But Jack rolls out, gets back to his feet, continues the fight, and wins this fight handily on the feet. I think it was a runaway win for Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della Maddalena looked great. Now, the problem for him is that he just changed the fortunes of 2 different divisions with that fight. He changed lightweight's outcome. He changed welterweight's outcome. Now, at lightweight, it was supposed to be Islam Makhachev facing Ilya Topuria. And now, since Islam Makhachev's friend is no longer the welterweight champion, he sees this as an opportunity to become a double champ. So Jack Della Maddalena's next fight will be against Islam Makhachev for the 170-pound welterweight title in the UFC. Hopefully that fight materializes before the end of the year, because I would love to see a big fight like that happen, possibly New York, possibly last card of the year. Maybe Abu Dhabi in September. Something like that. But that is the only fight to make for the belt at 70. I don't want to hear anything about Ian. I'm sorry, Ian. We need to get a champ fight going. We haven't had one of those in a while, and Islam deserves it. He's defended against multiple featherweight champions. Well, not multiple champions, but multiple times against featherweights. So Islam Makhachev has earned this champ fight. And he sees Jack Della Maddalena as easy pickings. He says, shine that belt up for me. So I'm excited to see that fight next. As for Belal Muhammad, I feel like there's only one real fight that I actually want to see. And it's Kamaru Usman. We all heard about the fight on the podcast that we never saw the podcast episode come out of. We all know Kamaru Usman has said he's been coming back. I don't know if he already has a fight booked, but I would love to see Belal versus Usman. Belal Muhammad versus Kamaru Usman is the only fight I want to see. I don't want to see a fight with Leon. I don't want to see a rematch of Brady. Maybe the Shavkat fight. I could see a Shavkat fight. Belal and Shavkat. Those are the only 2 I really want to see right now. Belal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov or Belal Muhammad versus Kamaru Usman. Unfortunately for Shavkat, unfortunately for Ian, unfortunately for Sean Brady, you got to wait. You are now in a queue. Belal has fucked it up for all of y'all. Yes, sir. Belal has ruined your fortunes for the next year, at least the next 6 months. Don't even think about a title shot for the next 6 months. That is reserved for Russia. Okay? Dagestan specifically. So good luck to Jack Della Maddalena. Good luck to Islam Makhachev. I can't wait to see that fight get booked. And Belal, he's got a couple matchups that'll be pretty fun. I mean, if I'm him, I'm staying away from that Shavkat matchup, but I'm looking at that Usman matchup like, you know what? I wanna pay him back for that podcast. Well, I got paid for showing up, but well, maybe he did. I don't know. But that's the fight I want to see. Belal, Kamaru Usman. Easy, squeezy. Lemon peasy. Let's go. And yeah, welterweight. It's fun. Which means we're going to get Charles versus Ilya for the interim belt at lightweight. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Moving on. Valentina Shevchenko defeats Manon Fiorot by unanimous decision. 48-47 across the board. Oh, yeah. Round 1 was Val. Round 4 was Val. Round 5 was Val. Now, round 2, Manon Fiorot had her best round. She gave Valentina some work. She stuffed the takedowns more. She landed some big strikes. But Valentina's just too much. She's too fast. She's too smart. She's too quick. She's too crafty. And she knows how to win fights. Mind you, she's been winning fights against the very top in the world, mind you, since about, let's say, 2009. Why do I say that? No, let's say 2006. She fought Joanna Champion in 2006 in kickboxing. Okay? Multiple times she fought this woman. She fought Kaylee Reese, Lena Landsberg, the Elbow Queen. Yeah. Ankie Van Gestel, Geraldine O'Callaghan. That was kickboxing. And Kong Wang. Don't forget Kong Wang. Her last loss in kickboxing and Muay Thai was Kong Wang. Wang Kong. Yeah. And then she got into MMA. And she was fighting Sarah Kaufman, Liz Carmouche, Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena, Joanna Champion, Jessica Ai, Caitlin Seremana / Chukagian, Jennifer Maya, Jessica Andrade, Lauren Murphy, Tyler Santos, Alexa Grasso, and now Manon Fiorot. And you motherfuckers had the nerve to make her a plus money dog to the challenger that's only 12-1? Are you... I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It was free money. Thank you, Val. Appreciate you. I can't believe y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all thought because Alexa Grasso subbed her and then she drew with her in a fight that Valentina should have won? You thought Valentina wasn't going to win this fight against Manon Fiorot just because she might be the slightly bigger fighter? Mind you, Valentina Shevchenko used to fight at 35 and hold her own. She's arguably won against Amanda Nunes both times. The first fight, it says unanimous, but make no mistake about it, that was a close-ass fight. And Amanda Nunes went on to become one of the greatest in the sport because of that fight at 35. And Valentina Shevchenko went on to become one of the greatest at 125. So it worked out for both women, but make no mistake about it, Valentina could hold her own at 25, 35, and I bet you she could handle her own at 45 too if she wanted to. So Valentina Shevchenko goes out there, uses all the tools in her game, uses her elbows, uses her distance striking, uses her wrestling, her trips, her inside trips, her outside trips, her clinch game, her knees, her top control game, threw in a couple of submission attempts in there. And Shevchenko walks away with a huge title defense, beating and turning back Manon Fiorot. Shout out to Valentina, the Bullet Shevchenko. Shout out to Pavel, her coach. Shout out to Antonina, her sister. Shout out to the whole team. Because we got another one, baby. Valentina Shevchenko is your UFC flyweight champion. And don't you forget it. Can't believe y'all forgot. That's crazy. Lest we forget, Lest we forget all the great fights she's given us, people. The first 2 fights with Grasso, the Lauren Murphy finish, the Jessica Andrade finish, the Jessica I head kick from hell, the classic, the instant classic with Joanna Champion, the absolute one-sided beatdown with Priscilla Cachoeira, both fights with Amanda Nunes. And y'all, she beat Holly Holm, Juliana Pena. She subbed Juliana Pena, by the way. And y'all thought just because Manon Fiorot is just a little big for 125, that was going to be a problem for Shevchenko? Man. Y'all better stop. Wheels Up says properly recognizing JDM's dominant performance built on his strength is an important takeaway. We shouldn't misinterpret this as Muhammad simply not wrestling. Yeah. JDM was on top of it. He was using all the tools of his striking. He kept Muhammad up on his feet. He did get taken down a couple times, but he worked his way back to his feet. But yeah, Shevchenko, don't ever disrespect my champion like that again. Don't ever. How dare you? She did lose the first fight to Grasso, but that's the only, in my eyes, that is truly the only fight I've seen Shevchenko lose in the UFC. I thought she beat Amanda the second time. The first time, okay, let's give it to Amanda. That Grasso fight, okay. The second Grasso fight, she won that. They just robbed her with a draw. And we know what happened since. So I never really saw Valentina ever losing a step. She made one mistake and she lost the fight because of it. She owned it and came back. And that's why she's still our champion. That's why I could see her still being the champion for a long time. Because who's going to challenge Valentina? Looking at flyweight right now, who is going to challenge Valentina? Blanchfield didn't hang with Manon Fiorot, so why would you think she's going to hang with Shevchenko? Macy Barber, unless Macy Barber has finally fixed the holes in her game and has finally become the Macy Barber that we thought we were going to see a few years ago, then maybe Macy Barber could be the one to dethrone Shevchenko. But besides her, I don't see anybody in this division that could give her any trouble at all, anywhere. Now, Natalia Silva fought earlier on the card. I'd like to see that. Let's see if her pressure. I mean, the way Valentina lost was pressure from Alexa Grasso, getting her back taken and getting subbed. Natalia Silva can do that. So maybe we throw Natalia Silva in there. She's got a nice win streak. But if we don't do that, the winner of Blanchfield Barber. It has to be the winner of Blanchfield Barber. Has to be. That's the only matchup if we don't get Silva in there first. Now, for Manon Fiorot, she did say she was going to retire after this fight. I don't think she should. I mean, you got to the title. You're still one of the best in the division. Nobody else could really beat you. So I think losers should fight each other on this card and winners should fight each other on this card. So Natalia Silva and Valentina Shevchenko for the flyweight title. Book it. Manon Fiorot and Jessica Andrade. Oh, yeah. That sounds fun, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. These ladies would go at it. Manon Fiorot is not afraid to go in there and bang. And we already know Jessica Andrade is the queen of bang. So that would be a great fight. That's the fight I want to see next. They both fought on this card. They're both aging. Jessica Andrade seeming to be on her way out. Manon Fiorot heading towards the door, it seems. Might as well put those. It's a fun fight. It's a fun fight where both of them could have some fun. So that's the fight I'd want to see. Valentina Shevchenko, Natalia Silva, Manon Fiorot, Jessica Andrade. Let's go over UFC 315. Top to bottom. Ayman Zahabi defeats Jose Aldo via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. This was a clear round 1 for Jose Aldo. Round 2 and 3 for Ayman Zahabi. Now, Jose Aldo was looking good in round 1. He was landing kicks here and there. Powerful strikes, keeping Zahabi on the back foot. Zahabi really couldn't find his range just yet. Round 2, Zahabi and Aldo's a much closer round, but Zahabi might have edged it just a little bit more. He found his jab. He was finding straight punches. Aldo looked like he was slowing down. And then round 3 comes. Aldo lands a big kick on Ayman Zahabi, knocks him down, punches at him, tries to land a flying knee, just misses on the flying knee, keeps going on the offensive, possibly gasses himself out. Then Ayman Zahabi goes at Jose Aldo, takes him down, or at least they find their way to the mat. And then Ayman Zahabi just starts raining shots down on Jose Aldo from full guard, just elbows, punches, nearly finishes the fight. And then the judges give the fight to Ayman Zahabi, and I think Ayman Zahabi deserved to win that. Now, I've seen a lot of fighters online call robbery. It was not a robbery. This was a close fight. Any guy could have won. And if this is one rules, and you got to tell just the story of the fight, Ayman Zahabi won that fight. He landed the more damaging strikes. He was probably closer to finishing the fight because of the cuts and the elbows and how gassed Aldo was. Aldo did have that nice kick, and the knee almost landed, but he didn't really put Ayman Zahabi out. He didn't fall face first like Sterling did to Ivan Erslan. So, yeah, I had to give that one to Ayman Zahabi. He earned it. He has more upside potential. And he also made weight and didn't cause the bout to change the contracted weight. So, yeah, I think Ayman Zahabi deserved the win. Natalia Silva defeats Alexa Grasso via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. I did see this one coming. Natalia Silva just uses her pressure. And Alexa Grasso just seems to always wilt in the face of pressure. She fell backward. She ended up on her back. No, she didn't end up on her back. Sorry, this fight was mainly on her feet, but she ended up with her back against the cage a lot, eating a lot of strikes. I think she had a cut and a couple bruises. Natalia Silva did great work. Great work. She used the pressure and she dominated the fight. Natalia Silva won. Natalia Silva won the fight. Benoit Saint Denis defeats Kyle Propelic via submission arm triangle. Round 2, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. This was expected. I just expected it in round 1. BSD did what he had to do. Had a short notice opponent because Joel Alvarez fell out of the fight. Benoit Saint Denis gets the submission win. Big win. He can start his march on at lightweight because he was coming off 2 losses before that. Before that, he had the loss to Renato Moicano, and before that, the loss to Dustin Poirier, both by TKO. So, yeah, Benoit Saint Denis really needed that. Those were the main card fights. On the prelims, Mike Malott defeats Charles Radke, KO punches, round 2, 26 seconds. Radke was a game opponent. He stepped in there. He was swinging hard and heavy shots, had malice on every punch, but Mike Malott found the right punch. Mike Malott with the reach advantage. I think it was a 1-inch reach advantage. They both throw hooks at the same time. Mike Malott lands cleaner, puts him down, finishes it off, gets the win. Canada, stand up. You got one. Mike Malott showing he could stand in there with somebody that wants to be a hammer. At women's flyweight, Jasmine Jasudavicius defeats Jessica Andrade, submission, rear naked choke. Round 1, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, not a lot of people had faith in Jessica Andrade. I actually thought this fight was going to go to a decision and she was going to show a little bit more than she did, but Jasmine just showing that she is ready to march on at flyweight. Now, don't start talking crazy about Jazz, getting a title shot or nothing like that. Don't forget Natalia Silva's here. Don't forget there's plenty other people on this card. I mean, plenty other women in this division that can provide a good title fight. I know Jasmine has a good winning streak, and I know she looked great in this fight, finishing a former champion like Jessica Andrade in round 1. But I think we should slow our roll a little bit with her, just a little bit. There's still, there's levels to it. Let's not march her up there too fast because Valentina is the best of the best, the cream of the crop. You can't just march anyone in there. They're going to get finished like Priscilla Cachoeira or Jessica Ai. At light heavyweight, Modestas Bukauskas defeats Ion Cutelaba, split decision, 27-30, 30-27, 29-28. These cards were all over the place. All I'm going to say is I had money on Bukauskas, and I'm glad he won. At light heavyweight, Navajo Sterling defeats Ivan Urslan, unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 29-27. Yeah, it was a solid fight. He did what we expected him to do. He came out with a point fight win. At catchweight, 187, Marc-Andre Barrios defeats Bruno Silva, KO, elbows and punches. Round one, a minute and 27 seconds. Bruno Silva missed weight. He didn't look good. He looked checked out mentally. Marc-Andre Barrios obviously had the country on his back. He was ready. He came in. He did what he had to do. He got the job done, and he knocked out Bruno Silva. It was a pretty bad knockout. Seems there was a neck injury to Bruno Silva. He had to get carted out of the octagon afterwards, but I think they provided an update on him later, and he was doing much better, so I'm glad to see that he's okay. And Marc-Andre Barrios gets a huge win. Daniel Santos, training partner of Charles Oliveira, defeats Lee Jung-yong by unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. I had little faith in him, but he pulled it out, man. His physique wasn't looking as good as it normally does for his fights. Maybe it was just a lifestyle change. I don't know what it was, but he looked fantastic in there. He controlled the fight. He looked good on the feet. He looked strong in clinch positions. He looked strong on top. And Daniel Santos got himself a huge win. And then the first fight of the night at bantamweight, Belzad Almakhan defeats Bragatona by knockout punches. Round one, a minute and 4 seconds. And Bragatona gets his first finish. Yeah, it gets finished for the first time. And Almakhan just one short uppercut just finishes Bragatona. It was a very nice punch. I knew Belzad Almakhan was going to be something because in his very first fight in the UFC, they gave him Umar Nurmagomedov. That just tells you what they think of him. Okay, they're like, oh yeah, you could hang in there with Umar in your first fight. You're good, right? Yeah. So I knew he's going to be a problem, and Bragatona found out the hard way that he was a motherfucking problem. That shit was crazy. So go back and watch that knockout if you really want to watch. I think he got a performance bonus. Did he not? Did they not get a performance bonus for that? Damn, they didn't give it to him. So the performance bonuses went to Jasmine Jazz Devicius, and went to Marc-Andre Barrios for his knockout of Bruno Silva, and it went to Bilal and Jack for their fight of the night. Everybody got 50K. But yeah, no bonus for Almakhan. Unfortunately, no bonus for Mike Malott. It is what it is. PFL happened. PFL MENA 1 happened. Now I'm just going to go over PFL MENA 1 because I know most of you didn't watch. Most of you didn't bet on it. But I just want to do my due diligence. Make sure we talk about everything. Masen Mohamed Sefi defeats Ahmed Al-Sisi by unanimous decision. This was a lightweight tournament bout. Izzadine Al-Darbani defeats Giannis Gamori in a featherweight bout. It was canceled. Sorry, that fight was canceled due to illness. It was supposed to be the co-main. Giannis Gamori, most famously known for losing to Peyton Talbot in under a minute in the UFC. They famously had an online beef. Peyton Talbot was telling him to throw leg kicks, blah, 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 leg kicks. And then first leg kick he throws a right straight, right down the pipe, knocks him the fuck out. So hopefully Giannis Gamori gets his bout rescheduled. I believe they rescheduled it for June, possibly July. Salah Eddie Namli defeats Abbas Khan via submission, rear naked choke, round 3, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. This was a lightweight tournament bout. Taha Ben Daoud defeats Boulalem Drisi by submission, triangle choke, round 1, 2 minutes and 7 seconds. This was a featherweight tournament bout. Malik Bashalo defeats Maltasir Bututa by TKO, round 2, 2 minutes and 32 seconds. This was a showcase flyweight bout. Also, Asim Ghanem defeats Hussein Salem via unanimous decision. This was a featherweight tournament bout. Islam Reda defeats Akram Nasri via TKO, round 3, 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Another featherweight tournament bout. Muhammad Fahmy defeats George Ide via submission, Darce choke, round 1, 3 minutes and 12 seconds in a lightweight tournament bout. Ahmed Maki defeats Hasham El Namer via submission, heel hook, round 3, 2 minutes and 3 seconds. This was a showcase lightweight bout. This was also Maki's retirement fight. He is actually a very big star over there in was it Jordan? Not Jordan. Where were they? In Jeddah. Sorry, in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So Maki was retiring. He's a very big star. Hadn't fought in about 5 years, but he was considered a pioneer in Saudi MMA. So this was his retirement bout against Hasham El Namer, and El Namer hadn't fought in quite some time either. I think he hadn't fought since 2018, and this was a comeback bout for him as well. But Maki ends up getting a submission win in round 3. The crowd goes crazy. Everyone was so happy with that one. I was actually glad to see that bout because I didn't know exactly who Ahmed Maki was, but after seeing that what he meant to the people there, it was nice to see that he got a win there. Sulil Tahiri defeats Abdullah Salem via TKO, round 2, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. This is a lightweight tournament bout. Iman Abdullah defeats Shamara Braga via split decision. This was a showcase women's featherweight bout. If you remember Iman Abdullah, you remember her from last PFL MENA where she had a pretty viral KO finish in I believe it was an amateur bout. This was a full contact bout, I believe, this time, and she wasn't able to get the finish. She got tested in round 1. She got taken down and beaten up by her Brazilian opponent, but then she came back in round 2, got back on top, landed some strikes, and then replicated that in round 3 and got away with a split decision win. And then Abdulaziz Al-Muammar defeats Faraz Ahmadani via unanimous decision in a showcase catchweight bout at 166. It was also an amateur bout. Well, that was the only amateur bout, but yeah. And that was PFL MENA 1. It was a decent card if you were able to watch it. If you were able to watch PFL MENA, I had a pretty good time watching it. I went over to the East, put it up on the screen. It was pretty good. And, it was something to watch on Friday before we got those Saturday fights. Speaking of Saturday fights, somebody headlined on PFL who we got to talk about. Somebody that's going to be my fighter spotlight of the week. My fighter spotlight of the week this week is Paul Big News Hughes, baby. Oh, yeah. Paul Hughes trains out of Fight Academy, Ireland since 2017 in Belfast, Northern Ireland. He's known for his nickname, Big News. Some people don't know this. He's Australian. He's Australian. He was born in Australia, but he's Irish, of Irish descent. He's an Irish professional mixed martial artist. 28 years old, born March 27th, 1997. He's 5'9". He's a lightweight with a 70-inch reach, 14-2 with 7 KOs and 3 submission wins. He's a former Cage Warriors champion, and he's looking to make his march towards the PFL championship, hopefully in the near future. And in his greater future, hopefully a move to the UFC. But Paul Hughes, wow. He grew up in Lavey County, Londonderry, Northern Ireland, where he initially participated in sports like Gaelic football and hurling before transitioning to MMA. It's interesting because you wouldn't have guessed that Paul Hughes was born in Sydney, Australia, but he was. His amateur record was actually 8-2, 3 wins by submission. Now, Paul Hughes started his MMA career with a Bama 28 TKO win over Adam Gustav, February 24th, 2017 in Belfast, Northern Ireland. This was his featherweight debut, so he started as a featherweight in his career. Then he went on to fight a cage conflict, won, where he gets a TKO over Stephen O'Neill and won the inaugural Cage Conflict Featherweight Championship. This was also in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Then he makes the trip over to London, England for a catchweight 164-pound bout against Matus Makarowski, where he submits him with a rear naked choke at Cage Warriors Unplugged 2, September 6th of 2019. Round 1, 2 minutes and 34 seconds. He follows that submission with a submission win over Khalifa Saidi at Cage Conflict 2, October 26th of 2019 in round 1 in Belfast, Northern Ireland. This was his lightweight debut, and he won the inaugural Cage Conflict Lightweight Championship. This is where his title aspirations would really start to begin. He gets another catchweight bout at 150 against Yuri Panada, beats him with a head kick at Cage Warriors 112, March 7th of 2020. This was a second round KO, 2 minutes and 33 seconds in Manchester, England. Then he goes on to face Aiden Stephen, wins by rear naked choke at Cage Warriors 116, August 11th of 2020, round 3, 4 minutes and 21 seconds in Manchester, England. This was his return to featherweight. And then he stays at featherweight for a little bit. He has a bout against Jordan Vucenic. Yes, the Jordan Vucenic that just lost in the UFC to Chris Duncan by submission. The Jordan Vucenic that we've come to know and love in the UFC. Yes, he lost to him at Cage Warriors 119, December 12th of 2020 in London, England. But he'd get his revenge. He bounced back from that loss to Jordan Vucenic with a win over James Hendon unanimously at Cage Warriors 120, March 18th of 2021 in London, England, and followed that up with a Morgan Charrier decision win by majority at Cage Warriors 128, October 1st of 2021 in London, England. He also won the interim Cage Warriors featherweight championship. Okay? Sorry. After that, he finally gets his revenge on Jordan Vucenic. He beats him in a unanimous decision win at Cage Warriors 145, November 4th, 2022, in a fantastic fight. Both of those fights with both of those gentlemen were great fights. If you want to go back and watch some instant classics for Cage Warriors, go back and watch the Paul Hughes and Jordan Vucenic Cage Warriors fight. Those are on UFC Fight Pass, by the way. And so with that win over Jordan Vucenic at Cage Warriors 145, November 4th, 2022, he won and unified the Cage Warriors Featherweight Championship. He then returns to lightweight against Jan Kaganhands and knocks him out at Cage Warriors 161, October 14th, 2023, day after my birthday. That was a round 1 KO in Dublin, Ireland. After this, he decides to pretty much stay at lightweight. He has a catchweight bout at 160 against Fabian Silva, where he knocks him out at Cage Warriors 170, April 6th of 2024, in the first round in Dublin, Ireland, and this was his last fight for Cage Warriors. He then goes on to fight for Bellator, where he takes on Bobby King. He knocks him out with punches and elbows at Bellator Champion Series 3, June 22nd of 2024, just over a year ago, in Dublin, Ireland. Okay, this was a round 2, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Then he takes on AJ McKee. And we remember this AJ McKee bout very, very, very well. Okay. This was a significant challenge for Paul Hughes. AJ McKee, former Bellator featherweight champion. Okay. Finished Patricio Pitbull. Beat many great fighters in Bellator. And Ryzen. And Paul Hughes gets the split decision win over AJ McKee on October 19th of 2024 at PFL Super Fights Battle of the Giants in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, marking the biggest win of his career. He then takes a step up in the next biggest fight of his career against Usman Nurmagomedov, the former Bellator champion. And this, well, I'm not sure what's going to happen with his belt, but he was the Bellator lightweight world champion. Not sure if they dissolved it, if it's a PFL belt. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with it. But he loses to Usman Nurmagomedov at PFL Champion Series 1 by majority decision in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, for the Bellator Lightweight World Championship. Oh, that was earlier this year. I guess they're keeping the Bellator Championship. Huh. Nurmagomedov was deducted 1 point in round 3 due to repeated groin kicks, but it wasn't enough to get Paul Hughes the win. Usman Nurmagomedov walks away the champion. But then Paul Hughes gets to come back this past Saturday, May 10th, at PFL Europe 1. And he gets a round 1 knockout in Belfast, Northern Ireland, basically his backyard. knocking out Bruno Miranda clean with a barrage of strikes. He came in as a minus 2,500 favorite. So, yes, this was expected. But Paul Hughes, in a comeback show for all comeback shows, knocks out Bruno Miranda, gets on top of the cage, and receives all the praise from that Belfast, Northern Ireland crowd. Shout out to Paul Hughes. Shout out to an absolutely massive win and a massive last 2 years in his career. I can't absolutely wait to see what this man does in his next couple of fights because he's fun to watch. He's skilled. He's good everywhere, grappling, striking. He's like a smaller Ian Gary to me. So Paul Hughes, shout out to Paul Big News Hughes, and shout out to a fantastic, huge win. And that's why he's my fighter spotlight of the week. Shout out to Paul Hughes. Oh yeah, lazy in the house. Take nothing from Jag, but he beat a Bilal who forgot what brought him to the dance. Malarkey. Yeah, I mean Bilal implemented his game plan way too late, and sometimes it's hard to gauge where you're at in the fight while you're in there. So I can see why Bilal just you should really shit the bed. It was a tough L to take, but somebody's got to take it. Somebody's got to take it. Let's get into some boxing, shall we? Let's get into some boxing. Anthony Cacace takes on Leigh Wood. Man. He defeats him with a 9th round TKO. I thought Leigh Wood was going to get the TKO. I really did. Leigh Wood. I really thought Leigh was going to get the TKO. And it went the other way. It is what it is. This was for the IBO super featherweight title. Okay. Now, Leigh Wood always in a fun fight. And this was just yet another fun fight for us to watch. So if you guys want to go watch a good boxing fight from this past week, you can go ahead and watch Cacace versus Wood. At light heavyweight, Ezra Taylor defeats Troy Jones via unanimous decision, 97-94, 100-90, 99-91. At featherweight, Liam Davies defeats Kurt Walker via unanimous decision, 117, 111, 115, 113, 116, 112. You're welcome for that pick. And at welterweight, Owen Cooper defeats Chris Congo via points, 96-94 across the board. On the prelims, at super lightweight, Sam Noakes defeats Patrick Balaz via 3rd round KO. At heavyweight, Lewis Williams defeats Victor Shevchenko via points, 60-54. At super featherweight, Charles Sr. defeats Cesar Ignacio Paredes via points, 59-54. At super welterweight, Harris Akbar defeats Octavian Grady via points, 40-36. At middleweight, Joe Cooper defeats Dimitri Prokounis via points, 40-36. At featherweight, Nico Leviars defeats Darwin Martinez via points, 60-55. At super lightweight, Huey Malone defeats Jacob Lasowski via points, 60-54. And at lightweight, Joe Tires defeats Mario Portillo via points, 39-37. We had another fun fight over the weekend. Emanuel Navarrete and Charly Suarez went at it. Okay. And this was a close one, man. There was a cut that made things interesting on Navarrete. This was for the WBO super featherweight title. These boys went at it head to head, toe to toe, punch for punch, blow for blow. Emanuel Navarrete defeats Charly Suarez 78-75, 77-76, 77-76. What a fight. These boys were warriors going at it. Another great fight if you want to go watch. For the IBF interim lightweight title, Raymond Muratalla defeats Zor Abdullayev via unanimous decision, 119-109, 119-109, 118-110. This was a landslide victory. I thought Muratalla was going to be able to get the KO, but that wasn't the case. It ended up going the distance, and yeah. At super featherweight, Andres Cortez defeats Salvatore Jimenez via unanimous decision, 190, 190, and 99-91. And at welterweight, Giovanni Santillan defeats Angel Beltran via unanimous decision, 97-93, across the board. On the prelims, it's women's super flyweight. Perla Bazaldua defeats Mona Ward via unanimous decision 40-36 on 3 judges' scorecards. At lightweight, Alan Garcia defeats Kristen Medina Garcia by unanimous decision 79-73 across the board. And at super bantamweight, Sebastian Hernandez defeats Azat Havaniasan via unanimous decision 98-91 across the board. Yeah, boxing had some fights this weekend. If you were a boxing guy, you weren't too bored. Sleeto says, we did it, boys. Ended the night up 2.25 units. That's a win in my book. Ending up anything is a win in my book. If I got more money than I walked into the night with, it's always a win. I don't even care if it's a penny. All right. A win's a win in my book. My boy, my Haitian brother, Haiti, my Haitian brother, Erickson Lubin. Shout out to Erickson Lubin. He gets the 11th round TKO, taking out, Ardreal Holmes Jr. These boys had bad blood talking mad smack the whole buildup of this fight. And all the good that Holmes built up in the earlier rounds, he kind of gave it away in the late rounds. He started taking steps backwards. Lubin learned that his pressure would be what's going to take him out. So Lubin starts coming forward because he was very lenient in this fight. But then Lubin starts firing and he throws like a 50 punch combo and finally gets Holmes out of there, drops him. He was ducking and weaving, but there was nowhere for him to go. One of them landed, and without a doubt, he was tired and the fight was over. Chris Young sprung forward, called the fight off. So, yeah, Erickson Lubin with a huge 11th round TKO win. I'm so happy for him. And I can't wait to see his opponents that he gets next. Let's talk about some other stuff in boxing real quick. We have a huge slate of boxing coming up. Not for a couple weeks, but let me just give you what we got on the upcoming weeks in boxing real quick. You ready? May 24th, double headers. We got a title fight. Angela Leo versus Tamaki Kameda, 12 rounds for Leo's IBF featherweight title. And on the same card, Pedro Taduran is taking on Jinjiro Shagioka, 12 rounds for Taduran's IBF strawweight title. Also, May 24th in Glasgow, Scotland on the zone, Josh Taylor taking on Iko Asuman, 12 rounds at welterweight. On May 31st in Las Vegas on Prime Video, Caleb Plant is taking on Jose Armando Resandiz, 12 rounds at super middleweight. On the undercard, Jamal Charlo is taking on Thomas Lamana, 12 rounds at super middleweight as well. Possibly we'll have those two face off if they both win, Charlo and Plant. June 8th in Queensland, Australia on the zone. It was supposed to be this coming Monday, the 12th, the 13th for them. But it is now June 8th. It's going to be Jai Opataya versus Claudio Squeo, 12 rounds for Opataya's IBF cruiserweight title. June 8th in Tokyo on ESPN Plus, there's a title fight between Junto Nakatani and Roshioko Nishida, 12 rounds for Nakatani's WBC bantamweight title and Nishida's IBF bantamweight title. July 11th in New York on Netflix is a title fight between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. New York, we're back, baby. And this time we're taking Katie Taylor out. I think Amanda Serrano is going to do it this time. Third time's the charm, baby. Amanda Serrano, 10 rounds for Taylor's undisputed women's junior welterweight championship. And then finally, July 12th in New York, there's a title fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. That's going to be an absolute freaking banger. Both of those guys can throw. This is going to be 12 rounds for Stevenson's WBC lightweight title. And that's it for our other boxing news, other boxing notables. And now for our favorite segment of the week. That's right. It's this week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. That's right. This week's wins. This week's wins. Let's fucking go, baby. I gave you guys some parlays. I gave you guys a PFL parlay. I gave you guys this parlay. Died on the first and second legs and the third leg. Mark Ewan didn't win. Sammy Joe didn't win. Malachi didn't win. We took an L, but that's why we have the high risk, right? Because, hey, there's a chance to bring back a little cash. Might as well throw a little bread out there, right? But then I gave you guys this PFL parlay. Paul Hughes, Connor Hughes, Gino Van Steenis, and Hyder Khan plus 184. And guess what, baby? It cashed. Yeah, it cashed. You're welcome. You're welcome. If you want to go take a look at it, did a little 35 piece, brought back almost a 120 piece, feeling good about it. A little Connor Hughes, a little Gino Van Steenis, Hyder Khan, Paul Hughes. I actually got it at plus 230. I got it at even better odds. Don't be mad. Don't be hating. Just appreciate. Okay. Look what I got Connor at. Look at Paul Hughes. The man is a minus 3,200. I got him at. I just want to throw him in there so I could say I made money off Paul Hughes, to be honest. That's really the real reason I threw him in there. And what? But yeah, so shout out to everybody that cashed. The PFL parlay cashes. We got a green check coming to the motherfucking channel. I'll be posting that right after this with some great victory music. Don't you worry. And then we moved on to the UFC card. And we started pretty all right. Now I gave you guys the CP units parlay, which was Grasso decision, Fiorot TKO, Bilal TKO. And none of those outcomes happened. It was an off week for CP units. It is what it is. We can't be right all the time. We can't be right all the time. Also, I changed my method up this week, which may have fucked it up. I made this event on Friday rather than when I usually do on Thursday. And I feel like that fucked up the juju of this. So let me try to get that sorted out. And hopefully I follow the process next week and we get the outcomes that we want. But I also gave you guys this UFC parlay, Jazzy Jazz, Valentina, and Bilal. Obviously, this parlay died on the very last leg, on the very last fight of the night. Bilal Muhammad did not cash our parlay, which was devastating, if we're being honest. But it's okay. It's okay, because I gave you guys this parlay. Navajo Sterling, Modestas Bukauskas, Eamon Zahabi, Daniel Santos at a plus 1404. And you can bet your ass Daddy threw some money on this. Oh, yeah. The high risk parlay cash, baby. A little 10 piece to bring back 214 because I used the boost on it to bring it to 2047. And then I also had plus 1386 on FanDuel. Both brought back over $350. Shout out to the high risk parlay. Very little risk, high reward. That's why I call it the high risk parlay, baby. Let's go. Shout out to those who cashed on the high risk. Shout out to those who cashed on Navajo Sterling, Modestas Bukauskas, Eamon Zahabi, and Daniel Santos. We had three dogs in there. Bukauskas, Zahabi, Santos. And we cash, baby. Let's fucking go. That's what I like to see. Also, we had some small bets on the night. We had a little Navajo Sterling points action going, a little plus 250 on DraftKings, a little plus 290 on FanDuel, a little sprinkle there, a little sprinkle here. We had the Jazz Davicius sub at plus 300, plus 380 on FanDuel. That was a nice little cash, a little sprinkle here and there as well to bring back some cash. We had the Malat finish. We had it on both apps, a little sprinkle here and a little sprinkle there to bring back some more cash at plus 110 and plus 115. We had the Chevy points at plus 180, plus 220 on both apps. Yeah, we sprinkled. That was more than a sprinkle. That was a splash right there. But yeah, plus 180, plus 220. Shout out to Val bringing home the points, the money, the everything. And then last but not least, we had this parlay. I decided to go a little bit more high risk and add two names in there for Daniel Santos. So I went Almacan, Sterling, Bukauskas, Malat, Zahabi. Another 10 piece at plus 1609 and plus 1573 to bring back 80 and 170, another 250 off a nice easy 5-leg piece, you know. And that's why this is another great episode and week for this week's wins, baby. Yeah, we're hot. We're hot as fuck right now. We're hot as fuck right now. Let's go. Last thing before I get the fuck up out of here, I got picks. I got picks on UFC Vegas 106. Light picks. Well, you can come back Friday for CP units for the real deep dive heavy picks where I tell you exactly how I'm thinking and what I'm thinking on these picks. So don't forget to come back to this channel on Friday for the in-depth picks. But my picks for UFC Vegas 106 next week, real simple. It is what it is. I got Michael Morales to beat Gilbert Burns. I got Paul Craig. I got Sadiq Youssef to beat a tough guy that didn't even really win his last fight. So, yeah, no offense to him. Makizio Casa, I think he's going to win as well. And then Denise Gomez. Those are my 5 for UFC Vegas 106. Hey, subject to change by Friday. You never know what happens with weight cuts and all that. But those are my picks for this week. I don't think there's any PFL next week. There might be some boxing, but I don't think there is. And yeah, it is what it is. 2 in the stinky says W betting. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Says I'll be here for sure. Appreciate you. I'll see you Friday. Right here. We'll be right here on this channel. Don't forget to scan the QR code below to become a fan and subscribe. Main Core Minute on your left. That's where we do the Saturday watch alongs as we watch the fights and bet the fights. Watch and bet alongs. And then if you scan the QR code on your right, that's One More Round Fights. That's where we do the simulations on Friday. That's where I do my in-depth picks for Saturday. And then Sundays where we do our wrap-ups for everything that we bet over the weekend. So don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. Also follow on social. That's where we put out the graphics for the bets that we're going to take. One More Round Fights on YouTube, One More Round Fights on Twitch, Instagram, the fuck's that? TikTok, and then One More Round F8 on Twitter because Elon has a character limit and he's a dickhead. If you get any wins from this channel, send them into onemoreroundfights@gmail.com. I want to feature you. So I want to get money with you. I don't want to just get the money. I want to see you get some money too. So don't forget to send your wins into onemoreroundfights@gmail.com. And sponsors, hit me the fuck up. I want some free glass. I want some free bud. I want some free food. I want some free everything. Hit me up, sponsors. This shit is on the rise. 350 and going. Let's go, baby. Let's get this money, honey. We got UFC next week. Thank you guys for coming by. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Watch some basketball, eat some food, kiss your mom. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Love everybody. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing love to the channel. Thank you for everybody that showed up today and showed love in the chat. Thank you for 2 in the stinky. Thank you, Sleeto. Thank you, Lazy. Thank you, Wheels Up. Thank you, Luke. I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy. Deuces.